Hey there, and welcome. Have you ever felt like learning English is just a total chore? Well, if that sounds like you, then you're in the right place. We're about to break down a really simple, fun, and honestly super effective way to get better at English, all by doing something you probably already love, watching TV shows. So, which is it going to be? You can spend hours staring at dusty grammar books, trying to force all those rules into your brain. Or you could kick back on the sofa with some popcorn and learn English in a way that actually feels natural. Yeah, the choice seems pretty obvious, right? Today, we're going to dig into why the fun option is also the smart option. And to walk us through this, we're going to follow a little conversation between two friends. Meet Anna. She's just starting out and she feels kind of stuck. And then there's Mark. He's figured out this awesome system. Their chat is basically the perfect blueprint for us to follow. Okay, let's dive into Mark's number one rule. And it's a big one. You have to change your mindset. See, this isn't about adding more homework to your day. Nope. It's about turning your entertainment time into a seriously powerful learning tool. And this right here, this is the light bulb moment for Anna. I bet a lot of you are feeling this too. It's that huge sense of relief when you realize there's a better way than those dry, difficult textbooks. It's all about finding the fun in it. Now, this isn't just a nice thought. There's some real science behind it. When you're actually engaged in having a good time, your brain is just more open to learning. Your stress levels drop, and you start absorbing vocabulary, pronunciation, and how sentences are built without even feeling like you're studying. This quote from Mark really is the heart of the whole thing. It's the simple truth that ties it all together. The secret isn't about working harder. It's about learning smarter by doing something you actually look forward to. So, you might be wondering, okay, that sounds great, but how do I actually do it? Well, Mark lays out a super practical plan for Anna. It's a clear four-step routine you can use for every single episode you watch. Here's the whole roadmap. First, you pick a show that's actually fun. Second, you use subtitles in a really smart way. Third, you focus on learning just a few new words. And fourth, you practice speaking by repeating what the characters say. Simple, right? Let's break each of these down. All right, step one. This can be a hurdle for a lot of people. I mean, you open up a streaming service and there are thousands of options. What's actually a good choice when you're just starting out? Mark has some great advice here. The key is to start with stuff that uses simpler, clearer language. Cartoons and kids' shows are perfect for this. Sitcoms are also amazing because they're all about everyday conversations. And definitely pay attention to that tip. Start with short episodes, like 20 minutes. It keeps you from getting overwhelmed. Small wins are everything. Now for the next step. And honestly, this one's a really big deal. This is probably the most powerful part of the whole plan. How to use subtitles, not as a crutch, but as an actual training tool to level up your skills. Mark's subtitle strategy basically has two phases. The first part is all about building a solid foundation, without any stress or pressure. This is such a brilliant place to start. When you use subtitles in your native language, your brain starts connecting the English sounds you're hearing with the meanings you already know. It helps you build that first crucial bridge so you can just relax and follow the story. So once you're feeling pretty comfortable with that, it's time to level up. This next step is where the real magic happens for your reading and listening skills. And this is a huge shift. By switching over to English subtitles, You're now connecting English sounds directly to English words. You're essentially training your brain to think in English, and you're improving your listening, reading, and spelling all at the same time. This is so important. Anna asks the question we're all thinking, but do you understand everything? And Mark's answer is just perfect. He says, not everything, and that's okay. The goal isn't 100% understanding, it's about making progress. It's totally fine if you miss some words. Okay, so you've picked your show, you've got your subtitle strategy down. These last two steps are all about turning this from something you just passively watch into a real active learning session. This is how you make the new language actually stick. Anna gets this great idea to write down new words, but then she worries about getting buried under a giant list. So she asks Mark a super practical question. What's a realistic target? How many should you even aim for? And Mark's answer is just beautiful in its simplicity. 5, just 5 new words. This small, totally achievable goal is the secret. It lets you really focus on learning those few words inside and out, instead of making a long list you'll never look at again. And here it is, the final piece of the active learning puzzle. When you hear a line in the show that you think sounds cool, just pause it and say it out loud. It might feel a bit weird at first, but it does 3 incredible things. It improves your pronunciation, it builds muscle memory for speaking, and it gives your confidence a massive boost. So let's just step back for a second and recap why this whole plan is so incredibly effective. It's not just about what you're doing. It's about the kind of English you end up learning along the way. Think about it. Textbooks teach you formal, kind of stiff English. But TV shows, they teach you how real people actually talk. You learn slang, idioms, and that natural rhythm of conversation. You're learning the kind of English that will help you actually connect with people. And this really brings us to the biggest takeaway of all. Don't worry about being perfect. Don't stress about missing a few things. Every single time you sit down and watch an episode using this method, you are making progress. You're taking a step forward. It all adds up. We've broken down the why and the how. The only thing left is for you to actually do it. So the real question isn't whether this method works. The question is, what show are you going to start with? What will you be watching in English tonight?
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we've got a mission for you. We're looking for the shortest, maybe the most enjoyable way to get confident in English, especially if you're just starting out.
That's right. Finding those shortcuts, the ones that feel less like, homework.
And more like just relaxing, hanging out.
Exactly. So we've dug into some sources today, looking at really practical, hands-on techniques. And a lot of it comes from analyzing this chat between 2 learners, Anna and Mark. They sort of boiled it all down.
Yeah, and what's great is that this stuff gets that frustration, if you're tired of just staring at grammar tables.
Or endless verb drills.
Yeah.
Then this deep dive is definitely for you.
The core idea, really, from Mark and Anna's talk is that learning speeds up a lot when it's actually fun.
Makes sense, if you look forward to it.
You just absorb more faster. So we're going to explore how you can swap that structured study time for something that feels more like entertainment, but still works. Really works. Okay, let's unpack this then. So the first big tip, it kind of flips the usual advice on its head, doesn't it? Forget the textbook, start with TV.
Precisely. Mark's advice was really clear. Start watching TV series in English.
Yeah.
The sources hammer this home. It's just way better than only grinding through grammar books.
Okay, so the immediate plus is it feels like a reward, not a task. I get that. But what's the actual learning advantage? Why visuals over just text?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. The why is all about context. When you watch a show, your brain isn't just hearing words. You're seeing faces, body language, the setting. the emotions behind the words. You might not catch every single word, but you can tell if someone's angry or happy or confused.
Right. So the visuals sort of fill in the blanks. They connect the dots between what you hear and what's happening, teaching through context, not just memorizing lists.
Exactly, and that leads to something really crucial, picking up natural language. Textbooks often teach these very formal, sometimes stilted phrases.
Like, to whom am I speaking?
Right, which, let's be honest, almost nobody says. But on a TV show, you hear the real deal. Slang, idioms, casual stuff.
Like, hey, what's up? Or how's it going?
Yeah, the rhythm, the intonation, the everyday words people actually use. You just don't get that same feel from a book.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because I know the first thing you're probably thinking is, but wait, if I watch a show, I won't understand half of it. Anna actually said that to Mark.
She did. And Mark's answer is honestly liberating for beginners. He said, not everything, and that's okay. That's key.
It's okay not to get it all.
Yes. The source material really stresses this. Just follow the story using the pictures, the action. Don't panic if you miss lines. If you basically know what's going on plot-wise, you're already learning passively. A lot, actually.
Okay, so we're watching TV, we're enjoying it, but now we've got all this English sound coming at us. We need a plan, right? A way to handle it. The sources mention a very practical, step-by-step subtitle strategy.
They do. It's a two-step process, really straightforward. Step 1, start with subtitles in your own language, your native language.
Okay. But isn't that a bit of a crutch? Like, won't you just end up reading your own language and tuning out the English audio? Did they talk about that risk?
They did address that. The point of step 1 is really about comfort and making that initial connection. It lowers the fear factor.
Okay, so it's not scary.
Exactly. You hear the English sound and boom, you instantly see the meaning in your language. It keeps you motivated, stops you from feeling overwhelmed and wanting to quit. Think of it as like training wheels, temporary.
Gotcha. Build confidence first.
Yeah.
Then comes the real challenge, the power move. Step 2, switching to English subtitles.
That's the pivot. Anna herself said, that sounds hard. And yeah, it can feel like it at first.
It does sound hard.
But the source is really clear. This is the absolute best way to learn new words and really hear natural English phrasing. You're forcing your brain to do two things at once.
Yeah.
Listen in English, read in English.
You mentioned this gives your brain a cognitive turbo boost. What's actually happening up there when we do that?
Well, think about it. You hear a word, maybe, curious. At the exact same time, you see C-U-R-I-O-U-S on the screen. Your brain instantly links the sound of the word to how it's spelled.
Sound and spelling together.
Instantly reinforced. It helps your pronunciation and your spelling simultaneously. It's incredibly efficient for locking that word in. You'll recognize it faster next time you hear it, and you'll remember how to spell it better too.
I have to admit, when I first tried this years ago, it felt like I was just frantically speed reading the bottom of the screen. Like I wasn't even watching the show anymore. Is that normal?
Oh, totally normal. That feeling of being overwhelmed at first. Everyone goes through that. But the sources promise your brain adapts. It's amazingly flexible.
So it gets easier. Huh?
Definitely. What starts as, a mad dash to read everything slowly becomes easier. You start recognizing common words without really reading them. That frees up brain space to actually watch the actors, follow the story. You end up just glancing down for new or tricky words. It's gradual, but you will notice the change.
Okay, speaking of not getting overwhelmed, we need to talk about what to watch and for how long.
Yeah.
You can't just dive into like some complex movie marathon right away. Beginners need structure.
Absolutely crucial. To avoid that burnout feeling, the sources suggest specific types of shows, cartoons, for instance, or kid shows.
Not because they're childish, right?
No, not at all. It's because the language is usually simpler, clearer, the plots are often straightforward, it's just easier to follow along.
And for stuff that feels a bit more grown-up, sitcoms came highly recommended too. Those short comedies about everyday life.
Yes. They use natural conversational English, and very importantly, they usually follow the short episode rule.
The length matters.
Hugely. The advice is, start with episodes around 20 minutes long. There are a couple of big psychological wins here. First, you don't get mentally exhausted. Focusing for 20 minutes is way easier than an hour.
It's true.
Second, every time you finish an episode just 20 minutes, you get this little hit of accomplishment, a confidence boost. It feels achievable.
Okay, so we're watching short, fun shows. That's the input, but now we need to make it stick, right? Turn that passive viewing into active knowledge. That means new words, vocabulary.
Exactly. Just watching isn't quite enough. You need to engage a bit more actively. And the main way to do that is writing down new words you encounter.
And this is but Mark warned against trying to learn everything, didn't he?
Yes, a critical warning. He said, don't try to memorize everything at once. That is, like you said, the fast track to burnout. If you hear 50 words you don't know in one 20-minute show.
Trying to learn them all is just impossible. Discouraging.
Totally. And that's why Anna's idea, the 5-word plan, was flagged as being so brilliant. She decided she'd pick just 5 useful new words from each episode to really focus on.
Only 5. That sounds maybe a bit low. If you're really motivated, shouldn't you aim higher?
It might seem conservative, yeah. But it's about quality over quantity, deep learning versus shallow exposure. If you genuinely learn and remember 5 words, maybe even start using them. That's way better than half learning 50 and forgetting most of them by tomorrow.
Okay, consolidation over volume. Makes sense.
It keeps it manageable, sustainable, and effective because of that.
And for those 5 words, it's not just about writing the definition down, is it? What's the best way to really make them part of your active vocabulary?
The sources were really clear on this. Write down the meaning, sure, but then right away try to use each word in your own sentence. A real example from your life or something you might actually say.
So you're forcing yourself to understand how it fits grammatically, its context.
Exactly. Makes the word yours. Not just an item on a list, but a tool you can actually use. That's the key to moving from passive recognition to active use.
That really bridges the gap. Okay, so we have the input strategy, fun TV, smart subtitle use, picking just a few keywords. But then there's the final piece, maybe the scariest for many, actually speaking, building that confidence.
Right. And the dialogue offered one last very practical tip for this. Mark gave it a big thumbs up. Repeating sentences out loud.
Just repeating what the actors say? Sounds simple.
It sounds simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It ties everything together, takes the learning off the screen, and puts it into your own voice, your own mouth.
So what are the benefits? Why does just repeating help so much?
Well, there are several layers. First, pronunciation. You're mimicking a native speaker's rhythm, intonation, the way they link words immediately after hearing them. It's instant practice.
Okay, mimicking the sound.
But also, crucially, it builds muscle memory.
Muscle memory. For speaking, how does that work?
Think about it. Speaking involves precise movements of your tongue, lips, jaw. Producing sounds that might not exist in your first language requires training those muscles.
Like physical training for your mouth.
Exactly. When you repeat English phrases, you're literally practicing the physical act of making those sounds. Over time, those movements become easier, more automatic. It helps reduce that hesitation or awkwardness beginners often feel when trying to form unfamiliar sounds.
I liked the part in the sources about adding emotion, too.
Yes, that was a great suggestion. Pause the show, repeat the line, but try to copy the actor's feeling. If they sound surprised, you say it was surprise. Angry, you try that too.
Why does adding emotion help?
It connects the words not just to their meaning, but to their intent. It makes the language more vivid, more memorable. And honestly, it makes the practice more fun.
Yeah, it turns it into a bit of a performance, like acting in your living room.
Totally. You're not just drilling, you're engaging with the language on a deeper level. It keeps that element of fun right there, front and center.
So if we boil down everything Mark and Anna talked about, everything these sources highlighted for you, the listener, it's like a 4-step plan for making English learning feel like fun, not work.
Pretty much. Step 1, watch something you actually enjoy. Short episodes are great.
Step 2. Use subtitles smartly. Start with your language for comfort, then switch to English for the real learning.
Step 3. Don't get overwhelmed by vocabulary. Pick just a few, maybe 5 key words per episode, and make them your own by using them in sentences.
And Step 4. Practice speaking by repeating lines out loud. Copy the actors, even the emotion. Build that muscle memory and confidence.
It completely reframes learning, doesn't it? It puts motivation and enjoyment right at the heart of it. And that, the sources suggest, is the real secret sauce for faster progress.
Every little bit counts. Every 20-minute episode, every 5 words you jot down. It's all adding up.
Cumulative progress, yeah. And it's happening while you're hopefully having a good time.
Which brings us to that final point the sources stressed. Don't worry so much about mistakes. Just enjoy the ride.
And that really leaves us with something important for you to think about, doesn't it? A final thought to chew on.
Yeah.
Well, if the whole goal here is to make learning English feel like entertainment, like fun, and mistakes are just, part of the process when you're learning and having fun, how does accepting those mistakes actually change things for you?
How does letting go of perfectionism maybe speed things up?
Exactly. If making a mistake isn't a failure, but just, I don't know, a funny blooper in your personal learning show, does that freedom make you more willing to try, to speak up sooner, to learn faster?
Something to definitely mull over. If it's fun, maybe mistakes don't sting so much and you just keep going. The evidence seems to point that way.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive today. Hope it helps make your English learning journey a bit more effective and definitely more entertaining.
Keep watching, keep practicing, keep enjoying it, and we'll catch you on the next one.